Welcome to the ESU Coaches Show. I'm Chuck Seese from Bigfoot Country 103.1. We are in a packed house tonight here at Detzi's Tavern on Route 512 in Wind Gap, and that's no surprise. To my right, to my left, I should say, ESU head coach Jimmy Terwilliger. To my right, John Detzi of the Detzi family, and thank you so much for having us here tonight. The Detzi triplets are well known in ESU lore. Three triplets played for the Warriors back in the 70s, part of some great championship teams, and they have stayed loyal to the Warriors ever since. In fact, a Hall of Fame induction back in 2006. John, congratulations on all that, but congratulations on what a family business you have here at Detzi's. It's a legendary place. Everybody knows about Detzi's, and everybody raves about Detzi's. That must feel really good.
Yes, Mom and Dad started this in 1960, and then we carried it on after we left East Stroudsburg, and it is what it is today. I think because of not bragging, but our notoriety because of what went on up at East Stroudsburg as far as us getting the publicity we have helped big time, because a lot of the football coaches and teams that come from Lehigh Valley stop this up this way if they're playing team up. So everybody meets here if they come up this way.
Detzi's is a great meeting spot in the Slate Belt. And, Jimmy, you know what it means to have a family that's involved in ESU athletics between your father and yourself. And the Detzi triplets are a perfect example of what a family's like at East Stroudsburg University.
Well, these guys are family to us, man. I mean, he speaks about teams coming here. You can't look no further than the bar. You got every high school helmet, from this whole area, and this is the place to come. But you talk about family, you talk about tradition. Jeff, John, and Joe played on some really good football teams in the 70s, and those guys, really set a foundation for East Stroudsburg University football. You see it in their business. They've always helped out our players. They've come every year to our marketing year or our marketing event. It's a really great place. I know when I was a player for East Stroudsburg, every Wednesday night was wing night. So we'd have to come down with the offensive line. They'd eat me out of house and home. I was working summer jobs just to pay for these suckers. But if you're in the area, what a great place to get some great food, some great camaraderie. The atmosphere here is great, and this family's special to our football program.
You get some great stories about ESU football, but also Bangor, Penargil, and Pius X, all the Slate Belt tradition of football. In fact, when just recently when they had the big rivalry game, the 100th edition, you've had some huge pep rallies before the Bangor Penargil game right here.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. And we had some good parties here too after our years up at East Stroudsburg too.
Now, we talk about a family, but the nieces and daughters of the Detzis have gone to East Stroudsburg. Alexa was a basketball player at ESU, and it was probably important and special for the family to have a second-generation athlete.
Absolutely, yeah. It was nice to go up there to see her play, and carry on tradition until she left. So. Yeah, it was fantastic.
When you look at these players today, what comes to your mind thinking about the days that you played and the differences in the size and the strength of some of these guys on the field these days?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, the size and the speed and the strength. I mean, when we came up to East Stroudsburg, we didn't really get involved in a weight program when we were in high school. Nobody did. None did. But we figured, well, I guess we better start before we went up there, so we did. So we could hang with some of these guys. But yeah, and then we got up there, and then we were all part of that. So yeah, it's a big part of it.
Why is it important to you to stay connected to ESU?
My mom and dad, they sacrificed for us to have the opportunity. If it wasn't for that guy there, we probably wouldn't be up there. And then when we went up there, he recruited a great class. Our freshman class was outstanding.
That's Coach Denny Dowds, by the way. For those, he's off camera right now, but he's right over there in the corner.
And from the time that we got up there as freshmen, my brother Jeff Johnson, Bill Bergen, those three started of our class. And I remember our first game was Slippery Rock, his alma mater. And we go out there, and Joe and I didn't make the travel, John, so we're patiently waiting to hear about the score. Go out there, we beat them 7-0. We get in our car, and we're racing Route 33, go party with everybody up to school, yeah. And from that point forward, that was the best 4 years of our life. We only lost 3 games. We won 3 titles. I mean, you couldn't ask for, and then the notoriety that we got because of us being triplets, because of Pete Nevins and Denny, and it just the best 4 years of our lives. We'll never forget it ever. That's our connection. Will always be East Stroudsburg.
There can't be a better advertisement for what it means for a family like the Detzis, a family like the Terwilligers, and all the families that are involved in ESU athletics. They get that feeling.
You know what? I'd be really interested to see, in speaking with the Detzi triplets, just how many people have had their sons come to East Stroudsburg, their second generation guys. It just shows the foundation that Denny had let down, and it's really special. We have a mantra here. It's on the back of our helmet. It says "Blood runs thick," and that's a true statement here. You got family people. It's a family football program. We look forward to it, and the guys that we have right now, they're carrying on that tradition.
We're going to meet some of those guys tonight. We have the all-conference players for you tonight. We also have some coaches that we're going to talk to. John, one thing. I have something planned, but that's okay. More to come from Detzi's Tavern here on Route 512 in Winnie Gap. Stay with us. We've got more to come for the ESU Coaches Show. I'm Chuck Seese. By the way, ESU basketball coming up this weekend on Bigfoot Country. We'll have, we're hoping that DUville will be able to make the trip from Buffalo. They're supposed to get 2 to 4 feet of snow starting tonight, so we'll see if they can make it down to the Poconos. But if they are here, the game time will be at 3 o'clock. We'll have it for you Sunday afternoon on Bigfoot Country 103.1. Back with more of the ESU Coaches Show right after this. Welcome back. We're at Detzi's Tavern. It's the ESU Coaches Show. It's the season wrap-up. We'll talk to Coach Jimmy Terwilliger in just a bit about the season. We're also going to talk to some of the all-conference team members that were announced earlier this week. But we're here with wide receivers coach Jaquil Burch. And Jaquil, tell us about yourself and how you came to East Stroudsburg University. You were a college quarterback. So where'd you play your college ball?
So I played college football at Montclair State University. It's Division III in New Jersey. And I was a 3-year starter. I started 33 games for them.
I remember Friday night trips to Montclair very well. The Warriors used to play Montclair every now and then in my college years back in the 80s. Did that AstroTurf get any better by the time you got there to play on?
Well, there's a story. It's on concrete, but I don't believe it. I'll let the opponent team come and say that. But it's a little soft on it. They just put new turf down this year, so.
So your experience in Division III had to be interesting because it's a little different brand of football than Division II and Division I. Talk about your experience playing in D3.
It's a lot slower. I can tell you that. The players, including myself, the 40 times, the speed of the game, it's a lot different. Even coming here to East Stroudsburg, the athletes are a lot much different, a lot much more athletic. So I'd say the speed of the game is different.
Now, shifting from a quarterback playing the game to a wide receiver coaching the game, we'll talk about that transition. What were some of the difficulties or what things just came to you? Because as a quarterback, you always know what routes your receivers are going to run.
Yeah. So I've learned a lot working with Jimmy, but I've always thought quarterbacks and receivers were kind of the same because being a player, you want receivers to want to run routes the way you want them. Like running them in the playbook is different, but you want them to run them the way the quarterback wants them to run them. So it's kind of like working hand in hand with our quarterbacks and our receivers, getting them to mesh all at once.
Why is running a route to a precise degree, 7 steps and then the cut, or 12 steps and then the cut? Why do they need to be so precise?
So we tell our receivers it's time and space, and I think that's the answer. So it's time and space. So you want the timing to match up with the quarterback's drop and what he sees, and you want the spacing to be perfect, or you don't want to run into another route. So time and space is always critical when running routes.
What do you see of the future of ESU right now? I mean, it's bittersweet watching seniors play their last game, but as we've noticed in the radio booth, a lot of young playmakers are starting to show themselves. Guys like Benny Pembleton making some key catches, and Justin Cook, obviously in the return game and has the ability to get downfield quickly. That's got to give you some bright hope for the future.
Yeah, I think the future is bright. I really think it is. We got some young quarterbacks that can shoot it. We got some young wide receivers that can run. It's going to be exciting at Allen Martin Stadium to light up the scoreboard. It's going to be fun.
Jaquil Burch, we thank you for joining us here on the Warrior Coaches Show, and I know that everybody is waiting, till the season gets started, when we get to spring ball and when you get to winter conditioning in January. I know it's something that everybody's already excited for. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, Chuck.
Jaquil Burch, wide receivers coach here at East Stroudsburg University. We're going to step out for a quick break. We'll come back and talk to another member of the Warrior coaching staff when we return. ESU Warrior basketball will be live on Bigfoot Country this season, so make sure you check out the schedule at ESUWarriors.com. The Warriors are scheduled to play Duville on Sunday, weather permitting. As I said, weather might be an issue getting to the Poconos from Buffalo, New York. But check your schedules. ESUWarriors.com has all the Warrior schedule for you for every sport in the winter season and every season. We'll be back from Detzi's Tavern with more of the Warrior Coaches Show. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Warrior Coaches Show. We're at Detzi's Tavern on Route 512 in Wind Gap. We're kind of wrapping up the regular season, but we're also talking to a couple of coaches that we haven't had the chance to chat with. Joe Kucky is a graduate assistant. Joe, what position group are you working with?
I work with the inside, or not inside backers, but just the linebackers in general, with Liam.
The linebacker core has really come to the fore in the defense that the Warriors are playing right now. Talk about the aggressive plan of attack that seems to be the defensive mentality right now for ESU.
For us, it's stop the run. That was a big goal for us this year coming in. We focused on stopping the run, and I think we did a pretty good job doing that all year. And it was cool to see. I think last year the average rushing yards against us were 140 yards, and this year I think it got down 112. So it was really good to see.
That is a big improvement. And when linebackers are making tackles, they're doing their job. Talk about the job that Serge Felizor did this season. Over 100 tackles. That's the most in about more than 10 years here at East Stroudsburg University.
It was awesome to see. He was all over the field every game. He was just making plays. We just let him do his thing, and he showed us what he could do this year. And that was be a playmaker for us, and it was awesome to watch.
Is there a knack for making plays at that position? I mean, we've talked to defensive backs, and they're going to say, well, you watch the hips of the wide receiver to see where they're going. But, a linebacker has to react so quickly because they're so close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I know for myself because I played. You gotta have really good instincts at linebacker. You got to be able to read the guards, read the running back. It's all one big triangle, and then once you read it, you got to react and make that play, get off a block. Because if you're in the front six, front seven, you're going to be getting blocked by somebody. And if you're out there playing fast, playing physical, you're going to make plays.
Joe Kucky, a graduate assistant at East Stroudsburg University, working with the linebackers. Went to school. It's an interesting story. I'd like to talk about it. A Yankee, true and true, by the way, from Connecticut, went to college at the University of Maine. I mean, it doesn't get much more New Englander than that. But University of Maine, it was University of New England. University of New England in Maine, but it was a first-time football program when you played there. So talk about what part of your decision-making process to go to the University of New England.
So my senior year, our linebacker / defensive coordinator, Coach Trishita, came to my school, and he told us how he was making they were going to be a brand new football program, and I've never really heard of the University of New England before that, and I thought it was a really unique and cool opportunity to start a program from scratch, and I went on a visit there, and the campus was right on the beach. It was a great atmosphere, and I really fell in love with it, and I really liked the coaches there, and that factored into my decision to go there, and I also like the opportunity starting the program right from scratch. Like, how many people can say they started a college football program right away? And I like the chance. It was a chance to play right away too. I didn't want to I know a lot of schools, they have you wait 2 or 3 years unless you're really good, and that was one of the schools that gave me one of my best opportunity to play. and I don't regret any decision I made going there. It was awesome.
That just sounds like a really cool thing to be able to do. I mean, just, like you said, to be the foundation of a football team. So most of the linebackers are back next year. Jacob Keene's about the only senior that I can recall. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you've got most of the linebacker core returning. You're going to get some guys back from injury this year. That should be a position of strength next year for the Warriors.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're getting ready. We're getting ready to work. Our guys have that mentality. They want to get going, and I'm excited.
Joe, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's the ESU Coaches Show here at Detzi's Tavern on Route 512 in Wind Gap. Warrior basketball will be the season sport that we'll be covering on Bigfoot Country starting this weekend with a non-league matchup against Deauville. The women are playing Tuesday night against Jefferson, and we'll have live coverage of that ball game starting at around 7 o'clock on Bigfoot Country 103.1. Stay with us. More to come from Detzi's on the ESU Coaches Show. We are back at Detzi's as the Warrior Coaches Show wraps up the 2022 season tonight. I'm Chuck Seese, and we thought it would be certainly appropriate to honor the all-conference players on the Warrior squad this season. So head coach Jimmy Terwilliger is here with me, and our first honoree is kicker Devin Bartholomew, who was a PSAC all-conference first-team selection.
Dev's done a great job all year. I mean, what's the stat? 99 in a row, extra points, something like that, and we're really excited about that. When Dev steps on the field, we have a chance for 3 points every time we cross the 35-yard line. One thing that I think was really good about the all-conference selections, there was some pretty good kickers this year in our conference, but there's none better than the guy sitting across from us. 36 has done it, on all ends. He's worked his tail off. I'm excited. He's got another year of eligibility left, and we talked about we have another 2. So we're going to do some talking here, Chuck, but really, what I've seen him come, we knew when we recruited him out of Parkland High School, we've done a tremendous job. He's grown in his role. He's a leader. You actually saw him play some Mike linebacker at scout team this year, which he's secretly fast. And he's one of the faster guys on our team, so he was a pain in the tail to block at times. But there's nobody more deserving than Dev Bartholomew for the first-team all-conference kicker. I hope he's recognized in the country. He's one of the top kickers in the country right now. So we'll take a look at how that shapes up, but well-deserving.
Well, let's talk about that, Devin. Also, congratulations on the first-team honors, but putting yourself out there on scout team as a middle linebacker, is it just do whatever you can to help the team?
Yeah, I just try to find myself in a position where I could help the team in any way possible. At practice, normally there's different segments given for specialists, so I usually only have 15 minutes of practice. Other than that, I'm kind of just standing on the sidelines. So to be able to get out there on scout team and practice and help the team, it honestly means a lot to me.
What kind of perspective does that give you from that defensive standpoint? Because generally speaking, right, you're on the other side. You're watching those defenders come after you. So what's it like to play that role?
I won't lie. Seeing the big offensive lineman come at me is kind of scary. But when I'm out in the open, I like to give receivers and running backs a little bit of work because I am pretty fast. I'm actually faster than most of them, but I like to give them a little work and try and get open on me.
Speed can outdo size sometimes. Well, what does it mean for you to be an all-conference selection, the first-teamer this year?
It's an honor. I really worked hard. I worked as hard as I possibly could this season. There's things I can improve on, obviously, but I think I'm pretty proud of myself for what I did this year.
You think of the kicking game, and there's 2 real things in my mind, right? Planting on the right foot or the left foot, kicking with the right foot, unless obviously you're the other way around. Is there something special that you as a kicker does to try and keep your legs, obviously in shape, but warm? Because at any point in a game, it could be a 30-degree day in November, and you got to make sure that you're warmed up and ready to go at a moment's notice. How do you do that?
So I do a lot of stretching. On the sideline, I kind of do a really deep squat to kind of get my legs in as flexible as possible, and then I warm up in my net. But when the offense is on the opposite end of where my net is, I just do a bunch of air kicks to kind of keep myself warm and loose. That's about it.
Talk about the relationship you have with your special teams unit. I mean, on those kicks, you got Cole Fryer, the long snapper, and Matt DeLaurentis, the holder. I mean, it really has to be a well-oiled machine.
We're the best special teams unit in the country.
All right, I like to hear that.
We're very close. Even our line, we all get along after every kick, come up to each other, high five, hug, all that, and then when we're out there, we just do it again.
Well, it certainly shows the teamwork that you have on the sidelines. We wish you the best of luck in the upcoming seasons here at East Stroudsburg University, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
Devin Bartholomew, ESU kicker, a member of the All-PSAC first team this season. We've got more to come. We'll talk to another second team selection, I should say, when we return to Detzi's. We're at Route 512 in Wind Gap as we wrap up the 2022 season. Stay with us here on the ESU Coaches Show. Welcome back to the ESU Coaches Show. I'm Chuck Seese from Bigfoot Country 103.1, the home of Warrior Athletics. We've got ESU basketball coming up, ready to go for you as soon as the games get started. There's one scheduled for Sunday at Kaler Fieldhouse. The Warriors hosting DeUville in a men's basketball matchup. Of course, that's weather permitting because they're talking about maybe 2 to 4 feet of snow in Buffalo. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near Buffalo this weekend. They got one of those lake effect storms coming. But we'll have live coverage of that game. We also have live coverage coming up next Tuesday night when the women's basketball team takes on Jefferson in a non-conference matchup. To my right, Tyler Watson, a Warrior safety who's a member of the All-PSAC second team. Congratulations on your honor this year.
Thank you.
What does it mean for you to be recognized by coaches around the league? Because these are the coaches that you're playing against, and obviously noticing the work on the field. And I have to tell you that when I talk to coaches on a weekly basis, your name came up just about every week from them, not from me.
I'd say it means a lot, but it doesn't mean everything to me. I just make sure I can do my job every single day for my teammates and for my coaches. That's really it.
We talked last week about Tyler, a graduating senior here at East Stroudsburg University, and how he grew into the position of safety. But as much anything else, a signal caller and a real field general for your defense.
He's one of the best to ever do it. I spoke my words to Ty last week at senior week, and it's going to be tough filling those shoes. I mean, three has done it better than just about anybody's done it from that position. And I say that because I'm a quarterback, and when I watch tape, my eyes always go from the safety down to the defensive line. And when you're watching our defense, it's real tough to be able to manipulate Tyler Watson as a safety, and the things he does in coverage, his disguise, his ball making or his ball hawking ability, his ball, being able to play through the hands and being able to be in coverage. And one thing that he worked tremendously on this year was his man-to-man coverage. He played man-to-man coverage about as good as anybody could in the slot, made big-time plays. He's a guy you can rely on. He improved his tackling, and more importantly, he was a leader. And when you look at his body of work and what it's going to mean to our football players and our program moving forward, he set the tone in the weight room. He set the tone in the off season. He stayed up in the summers and worked on his craft. It was unbelievable the amount of leadership that he did. He's a lead-by-example guy. We're going to miss him, but it's a tremendous honor for him to be recognized. It's well-deserved. In my opinion, he's the best safety in the conference, and I look forward to seeing what he can do after East Stroudsburg University. Is going to bring a lot of value somewhere.
Well, let's ask you that. We talked during the senior program last weekend, but what do you think you want to do after your career here at ESU?
I want to continue to keep playing, like I said, so I'll be looking for just getting back into the weight room, getting my body right, and working towards that goal, setting up a plan, stuff like that.
Coach says you lead by example. Is that something that you think about when you're out there on the field playing? I mean, obviously, your mentality is to go make the play, go make the tackle, or go break up the pass. But do you get the feeling that there are other people that are watching how you play in order to make themselves better?
Yeah, I'd say, coaches tell me all the time that the players are looking at me and how I react to things, so that's all I try to keep on a even level head the whole game, no matter what, up and down. And I'd say the guys would follow right after me.
We appreciate your time, and we certainly appreciate your career here at East Stroudsburg University. All-PSAC second-teamer safety this season for the Warriors, Ty Watson. Thanks so much for being here with us. Jimmy, we're going to wrap up the show tonight. I just want to ask you your final thoughts, and I want to accentuate some of the positives of this season. You know, in a couple of different games, big plays made the difference. I look at the Justin Cook kickoff return. I look at the fumble that these guys on defense were able to generate against Shippensburg, and that wasn't the first time you had done it this season to seal a victory. So, you know, those are the bright spots and the things that I remember from this season. I'm sure that those are some of the things that you're going to focus on when you reflect upon the 2022 season.
It's amazing because when you look at the record, you're obviously disappointed with where we stand as a record, and the byproduct of that. And hey, Bill Parcells would say, "You are what your record shows." And but I do player meetings right now, and at the end of the season, I evaluate every player. And I sit down with them one-on-one with their goals, their aspirations, their thoughts, and every single meeting that I've had with every player has been that they're so hungry, that they've been this close, and there's so much more to get done, and the drive that these guys have that was set forth between the senior class. I'm going to remember a lot of positive stuff. For instance, we're the turn of a ball. We're 1 or 2 plays away from being an 8-3 ball club, and this show being on the road this week, someplace. But the ball fell the way it fell, and it fell the right way for a reason. I'm blessed to have been able to be a part of some really good senior guys that set a foundation here. I will forever remember the goal line stand at Bloomsburg. Was never around anything like that. Was an extreme positive, extreme thing to build on. It's something that I think our program needed. It's something that for years and years and years, it's been, hey, let's score more than the opponent. Well, that paradigm shifted to, hey, let's stop the offense from scoring. I will forever remember the Shippensburg fumble on the 4-yard line. I will remember the young guys getting put into the fire, because of injury and being able to go next man up. These are all things that we'll be able to do. And then, or rewind it back to, I'll remember next year us playing IUP and it coming down to the last second field goal and being 1 or 2 plays away from being in that conference championship game. That's what I'll remember. It'll propel us this offseason. I'm excited about it. I want to start now. I mean, the heck with Thanksgiving, the heck with Christmas. Let's get to work. We need a couple guys to fill some big shoes that are going to come in, but it will be done. And every year I've ever been a part of football, you always will have those question marks, and somebody will always step up. It's their turn now, and I appreciate the guys that set a foundation, but it's time to work, and that's a part of our core values. I'll remember this season. It'll drive us. It'll be a great thing.
Couple of final thoughts. I want to congratulate Deshaun McCarthy, also a PSAC all-conference selection first-teamer at defensive end. And happy birthday, Coach.
I appreciate it. It's a work day, though. Hey, listen, we got to get some things.
I think there's a cupcake for you somewhere with a candle back there.
Save the cupcake for later, all right? The Warrior Coaches Show, there's no place we'd rather be. We're going to take care of business, spend it with our family here, and I thank you guys for all that you've done, Chuck. And every week, you doing it, you, Ryan Long, Derek Skinner, Reevesy, you guys have really made this special for East Stroudsburg. It's something that I want to continue to grow on, so I thank you. And hey, great to spend my birthday with you, Chuck.
I appreciate that. We appreciate you watching the ESU Coaches Show all season long from wherever we brought it to you, and we hope to bring you more coaches shows in the future. So make sure you keep your eyes on the ESU Warrior Athletics page at esuwarriors.com. I'm Chuck Seese for everybody here at Detzi's, and for Coach Terwilliger, for Ty Watson, Devin Bartholomew, Joe Kucky, and Jaquil Burch. I want to say thanks to those guys for being with us here tonight as well. We'll see you down the road on the ESU Coaches Show.